Hi everyone and welcome to welcome to Legal Limelight. Today I have an amazing guest, Rob Hanna. He is a good friend of mine. He is the host of the Legally Speaking podcast. He runs KC Partners, a legal recruitment firm out in the UK. And he is also the creator of the first legal coin that is based in Web3. So I'm really excited to have him on here and chat all things. Oh, gosh, we have so much to catch up on, but really I want him to talk about what he's been doing with his podcast, what's going on with his creator coin. There's just so much going on and moving in this space. It is so fast paced, but take a second to bring up Rob. Hey, Rob.
Hopefully. Hey!
It's been a while, my friend.
Can you see and hear me okay, or do I look too dark?
No, you're good. You're great.
Okay, cool. It has been a while. How are you?
I'm good. I forgot. So wait, it's like 7 o'clock by you or 6 o'clock?
It's 6 p.m. Yeah, just gone 6 p.m.
Okay, where's the baby?
The baby has just had a day at nursery, and my wife is just about starting to do the bath and all of that good stuff. So I got off duty quite nicely tonight. So yeah, all good. How about you? How's everything been you?
It's really good. I know, like I was giving you an intro before you hopped on, and it's so wild. I think like we talked a year ago and we talked plans for 2022, and now we're wrapping up the year. So I feel like a lot has happened in both of our lives in terms of family and business. We need to like catch everyone up.
Neither of us can sit still. I think that's our issue. We've always got things going. You're like this top IP lawyer who knows everything about Web3, like most kindest, beautifulest family, like awesome friend. I don't know how you do it, and I'm still trying to figure out how I do it as well.
Yeah, I know. It's, you know, what's funny is like every night I sit down and I'm like, how was that a day? Like,
it's amazing.
With kids, you're like, how did all that shit get done?
It is crazy. It is crazy. But how was your brother's wedding, by the way? Because that was not so long ago, right?
It was not so long ago. It was really great. My younger brother got married to a girl we love, and you know, it's just nice. And I like telling people that, you know, the positive news, like this tomorrow I'm going to a friend's wedding. And I know some people are usually like, oh, they don't give an excuse of why they're out of office, but I think it's just another way to like connect. Like, that's so nice that you even remember that. Thank you.
Yeah, well, again, typical Francesca, like you stepped up as well. You didn't just attend, you like helped, you made it happen. So yeah, awesome. Go you. And how were your talks, by the way? Because you've been talking everywhere. You've been on the road, been doing lots of Web3 stuff. Has that all gone well?
Yeah, because I think, I mean, you and I met in 2020. It was a time where everyone's at home. Everything was virtual, you know. And also I see Dimple on here. If you're still here, hey girl.
Hey, Dimple.
That's how we all met, right? Like on Clubhouse. But now that the world is opening, I guess, you know, or just like managing with it, I've been traveling more. I did a day trip to Chicago from New York.
Wow. What time did you get up and what time did you get home?
I got really lucky. So like for anyone who has kids, like you get like it's just a lot. Like it's a lot to miss a day. Like you want to be home for seeing the kids before they go to bed. So I got on a plane at 7 a.m. and I got in for an 11 a.m. talk, and then I got on a flight home around 2 and was home before 7. Like I was home at like 6:30.
Wow. So you did like a 7 till 7 stint. So you got to say goodnight for bedtime, right?
It was nice. I was able to see them. Yeah. What about you? You've been doing a lot of in-person stuff too.
Yeah, I have. So I've been in London quite a lot. So there's been quite a few legal events that I've been to. So one, our president of the Law Society of the UK, Stephanie Boyce, she is standing down in October, so like next week, and she had her gala dinner, which is really nice. It was like a black tie event. It was supporting 3 charities. One was a mental health charity that I'm super passionate about, and 2 others. One was for access for justice to law, and yeah, it was a really nice event. Great to see lots of like the headlining legal people, and yeah, that was really good. I've got a few tech events coming up. It's Legal Geek over here in the UK at the moment as well, which is all about legal tech, all things Web3, which is super exciting. And then next week, because you know we just signed and re-signed an extension with Clio as part of our Legally Speaking podcast.
Amazing.
So they're the sponsor for our Legally Speaking podcast, which is awesome. They're a legal tech software provider for law firms that are trying to help them. Everything basically software management practice they do. And so they've got an event next week. So I'm down there for ClioCon, where the CEO is a guy called Jack Newton, and he delivers like a super awesome keynote speech all about like the trends in legal and how tech's going to sort of adopt and should be adopted and all that good stuff. So I'm there, and then I've got another cool event. So yeah, I'm just around. I'm just at events, getting out there, seeing people, getting in the community, and just loving it, to be honest. It's nice to get out of the house occasionally.
And I just need to say hi real quick to Mitch. Hey Mitch, it's good to see you. We need to do more video too.
Hey Mitch, good to see you, buddy. Well, can't wait to hear about all of your trip to Toronto. He's definitely someone people need to follow. He's like our mentor, our father, our like accountability coach, our friend, our everything. He's just a top dude.
He's the daddy. That's what you said.
Yeah.
He's really the best. So Rob, I want to talk about Web3 because you really are a pioneer in the space. And for anyone who doesn't follow us on LinkedIn, Rob, Mitch, and CELEB and we all talk every Monday about topics in Web3. So you're a pioneer in this space. You're really one of the first legal creators to create a coin. And I'm using this selfishly as an opportunity to catch up because I know we've been so busy. So please, tell us everything. What is the coin? How can we join your community? And tell us all things about it.
Yeah, so just to provide a little backstory. So as I mentioned, we have our Legally Speaking podcast where we've had your good self feature before. We've had Mitch feature before. And we do a lot of, as part of my holding company, I have a holding company called KC Partners where we do legal talent solutions. An umbrella of that is recruiting for some of the world's largest law firms. And I realized probably about 3 or 4 years ago that we could continue to do the talent work, but there's really something in content and community building. And so that's where the podcast was born. And I noticed we were getting lots and lots of sort of, interests and more inquiries and discussions were happening and everything else. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. So why do we just have to limit things to a podcast? Why can't we be more than a podcast? And then I started learning and hearing about creator coins, social tokens, and Web3 technology. And I got speaking with some friends who had already launched their own creator coins. And I thought, well, why don't we create what we're calling is our Legally Speaking Club? So it's a club where underneath the club, there are branches of content. Of course, our podcast is one where now we have a relationship that I've mentioned with Clio. We are going to be doing events. We're going to be doing workshops. We're going to be doing various different things. We're going to be opening up our own space in the metaverse and holding discussions and all of that good stuff, because I found something interesting, and we've built a Discord community and we're growing that actively daily. Everyone is part of a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group or on a Slack channel, and they're getting content, they're getting collaborations, they're getting thought leaderships. But we're in a world now where people would probably quite like to be rewarded for being in a community. So with the creator coin, it's a great way for us to reward people. So for example, if people in our community just attended today and listened and hopped on for us, we could say, hey, thanks so much for listening to Francesca and I and supporting the community. Here's some legal coin. And with the legal coin, the premise is that that will give you access to other pieces of content and other things that potentially we're creating in a VIP community. And I think that's super interesting. But the other cool thing, I think, is let's say someone doesn't want to be in legal anymore. Let's say that they have finished their time. They have been part of a community where actually over time they've been accruing these rewards. And with those rewards, the way I believe the world is going, there's going to be more and more social tokens. They could potentially sell or move those social tokens and join another community. So I think it's great. So not only do you get you're part of an existing community, you get rewards for being a part of that. It's quite cool learning some crypto, learning the basics of it and all of that good stuff, and supporting as we grow, as you learn and earn, but also you also can potentially get something off it at the end of it. So that's what we did. We created Legal. We chose Legal because we wanted the authority on that. We launched with an organization called Rally.io. We potentially may move from Rally at some stage, but for now, that's where our coin is held. And yeah, there's lots of different stages and things you can do. You can get access to VIP recordings, behind the scene Q&As with our guests, all these cool little incentives we're doing connected to the coin. But that's the idea, to create this awesome legal community content hub where we can reward people and be bigger than just a podcast.
I just got chills when you were telling me everything, because you and I have been having conversations about this for a year. So while everyone watching this, you know, it is amazing, Rob, what you've built. But like, I want to take a minute to let everyone know what actually happened behind the scenes. So It took Rob hundreds of hours, probably, learning what Web3 was, finding the right platform, building it out. But even like the basics of learning a technology and how he can apply it to his business to reach more people. Like, I need to really give you a lot of credit for that, because it's something that every business, I do believe, will have at some point. But so much effort, I know, went in behind the scenes to get to where that program is today.
And it's so true. And, you know, we talk a lot about the word community. It's probably overused in Web3 particularly, but we know that's super important. So anyone here who has a community, you know, it was a lot of a process to get out there. And I think the main thing is, if you have a personal brand, really think about a social token or a creator coin, because if you've got people in your community that are already following, supporting you, wanting to know more, it's a great way to increase that engagement and give them a welcome mat in to the world of Web3. And you're right, because I started small as well, because, you know, we did some mini NFTs. So we did some token gated NFT events. So you'll know that we had Carol Baskin, for example, from Tiger King come onto the show. So we did, as part of a pre-coin launch for our social token, we did a NFT. So anyone who bought that particular NFT, which would get them a 5-minute Q&A with Carol, they could ask them anything about Tiger King, the recording, the behind the scenes, what was the scoop with Joe Exotic, you name it. And then those people who actually purchased the NFT got early access to our social token. So again, we're getting used to, okay, how do we run an NFT drop? How do we actually get some utility behind that? What's the benefit of that? And so we're going to be doing a lot more sort of NFT drops in the future. And it was a good experience to learn how to go through all that, creating the artwork, speaking with Web3 designers and all of that cool stuff. And I just think it's a super exciting time. And they definitely need to follow people like yourself, Mitch. They can follow me, just to kind of get things broken down, because whilst it sounds overwhelming, if you get into these communities, these Twitter spaces, join Francesca's lives, and then follow up with people and read and engage in their content, you will start to see, you know, actually it's not as difficult as you first think. It's just getting over that initial overwhelm of, oh my God, all of this stuff's happening, where do I start?
It's so true. And you know, like, you're obviously one of the pioneers in this, but I fundamentally believe in the next like 5 to 10 years, maybe sooner, hopefully sooner, it's blockchain's going to be immersed in our everyday life. So I have a question for you. For people who have personal brands right now, is this something that, because you went through it, right? Like, and I know it took a lot of work. Is it something that you suggest that they get started on now? Or would you suggest that they first, you know, build out a community outside of Web3 and then launch a Web3 type project?
I think my first comment is everyone should have a personal brand no matter what you do, because it's your insurance policy in anything in life, in your career, any initiative. And yes, I definitely think to have a successful, if you're going to go down the creator coin route or something of that ilk, social token, you do need to have a community of sorts. Now, when we're talking about this, we're not talking about needing to have hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, and millions of people. I think sometimes people get visions of grandeur. And I still talk to this today. You know, people are like, oh my God, Rob, your podcast is everywhere. You know, you must have millions of downloads. Well, no, we do not have millions of downloads. We have a very targeted audience where we
Wow.
deliver targeted content where, yes, we have thousands and thousands of downloads. I'm not saying we don't have many, but we don't have, you know, we're not Joe Rogan in that disguise. And you don't need to be to make a real impact. So I think when we're talking about community building, if you've got 100 people, 200 people, that's a great level of people to know to start building and actually giving value to. Because also, just imagine if those 100 people, you gave them incentives of saying, hey, could you recommend 3 like-minded people to join this community? And here's a free NFT for doing that. Or here's some free legal coin, for example, for doing that. And actually rewarding people to grow light and right-minded people within your community. So yeah, I think definitely having a community, but I don't want people to be put off by the fact, oh my God, I need to have millions of followers, or I need to do this, or it's not true. You can just do it at your own speed and your own pace, and every person in your community is valuable. And you've got to remember, don't just worry about the numbers, worry about the people and actually making sure they get value and feel really, really part of the community and included. That's the key word. Inclusion is super important.
So Rob, how have you become, let's talk about intention. Let's talk about being like targeted, because I know that that's why you're successful. But what do you say to people who are overwhelmed by it, that are like, okay, there's Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's Twitter, there's TikTok, there's Discord, Instagram. I mean, how does someone who is building a personal brand, how is it sustainable to build a brand and with all of the social media? Do you have any tips for people?
I think I got that. Sorry, I'm not jittery your end. I just got, have I frozen? Hopefully not.
I put you on the Wi-Fi.
Okay, I can see you now. Can you hear me?
Yes. Is this better?
Yeah, that's much better. I think I got your question. You're talking about maybe people who might get overwhelmed by all of this, and there's so many different platforms and where to start, right?
Yeah, I mean, because there's LinkedIn, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's Twitter, like Discord. So how like, it's overwhelming.
It is. Well, look, I believe in playing to your strengths. So for me, where I'm consistent, and I think that's the key word with all of this, because for me, it would be impossible to be authentic and show up every day on absolutely every platform possible. But however, I start and I stayed with LinkedIn. Now, the reason I stayed with LinkedIn and why I'm consistent and I've built off using LinkedIn as a platform.
No. Rob left. Okay, I thought it was my internet. I just plugged my phone in. It was probably his. So let's just give him a minute. But thanks, guys. It's hey, Jacqueline. Hi, Mitch. I don't know if you're still on here, but thanks for tuning in. Rob is amazing, and I also encourage you guys to go back and watch our last live that we did literally a year ago. It's just crazy to see how far we've come every single year. Like, Rob keeps setting these crazy milestones and meeting them and killing them. So it's amazing. But he's back. I'm just gonna hit accept.
Hey, I have no idea what happened there. It just said that it had finished. I was like, what?
No, you're here. You're back.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm so sorry. So let's jump straight into it. So I want to be respectful for people who have given their time to listen to us today. So yeah, you're talking about sort of platforms overwhelm. I said I would find it impossible to absolutely go on every single platform every day of every moment, even with using automation tools, because I want to ensure, and that's the thing, folks, if you're thinking about using automation to gamify everything, that's great for reach. But you also need to think about engagement. So what do I mean by that? I am consistent on LinkedIn because it's the world's largest professional networking site. It's where there's a large legal audience, and it's where I've been for many, many years, and I've built up brand equity. And obviously, as you know, I've been an advisor to LinkedIn. I help them with their product rollouts. I've been to their head office. I speak to their creative manager team. I feature in LinkedIn News. So I have a lot of, if you like, brand equity and a good personal brand there to leverage off, because I've built that up over a number of years, being active and really trying to embrace the platform. Whereas if I was everywhere all the time, I always make sure I apply to every comment and allow myself time to do that. Now, it will get to a stage where that's going to be impossible. I fully am aware of that. But now, because I want to ensure that everyone is part of my community, I want to take that time to make everyone feel actually they have a voice. Hey, Rob will come back to me. He will respond. And that's super important. Remember, folks, I'm not saying you need 1 million people to have a community. You can have a community of a couple hundred, a few thousand, tens of thousands, but making sure that you don't just make them feel like a number and they have a voice within your community is super important. But yeah, I've doubled down on LinkedIn. I utilize LinkedIn to the max. I use LinkedIn audio. I use my experience of being an early adopter on Clubhouse. Remember, Francesca, we jumped on that early as well. And that's, I think, where we both met Mitch originally. And so I used that experience, and then I kind of pushed myself out there and started saying, hey, LinkedIn, I'm going to run your town halls. And then I ended up running the LinkedIn audio town halls, and then sort of getting endorsed. And now I'm on the LinkedIn website, it's part of the feature sections, testimonials, and it all adds to that equity. So when someone looks at me on LinkedIn, it's like, okay, this guy's got this, and actually he's connected here. Whereas on Instagram, for example, like Instagram, I'm here, but does my brand carry as much weight? Probably not. I've got a good junior legal audience here coming through, which is great. So my tip would be, if you've got a platform, be consistent and double down on that particular one. Be omnipresent and be on others, but you can't physically be everywhere because you'll dilute yourself and eventually you'll burn out.
It's 100%. It's so true. And this is the long game. Like, you're not going to get tens of thousands of followers overnight. You could pay, but like, I could tell in 2 seconds the people who have paid for their followers and who didn't. You have thousands of followers and you click on a photo and you got like 5 likes because all the people they don't exist. So it's all about community, like you said, Rob. But I do want to focus on something, because what you said is incredible. You're on the LinkedIn page. You've really built your brand. But what it took for you to get there, you were doing those town halls on Sundays.
Yeah.
You're doing this right now during bath time. Can you tell us, and then we're gonna wrap up because I know you need to rest. But
look, it's wit, right? Whatever it takes. And I remember my mentor said to me one thing before I started my first business. He says, if you want it so bad you can't breathe, you'll be successful. And really, that is kind of how I approach every single day. And because I have a why, and I think this is my biggest tip to anyone, understand why you're doing what you're doing. And you'll know, Francesca, my personal story. My grandfather ran a law firm over here in the UK. He built a very incredible offline reputation and business. I'm trying to emulate that success to leave a legacy still imprinted in my family, to build this kind of more collaborative legal community, but in an online digital world, right? So every day I know I need to do whatever it takes and just bring energy. And that may mean I need to miss something. And you have to do sacrifices. And we talk a lot about this world, about balance, and I absolutely get it. But I'm going to be quite controversial here. To get anywhere, you're going to have to do things that probably are going to upset a few people along the way. But if they love and respect and understand why you're doing it, they'll get it. If they don't understand why you're doing it, they won't get it. That'll lead to friction and that'll lead to problems down the line. So whatever it takes, and make sure you're passionate about what you do, and then you'll continue to do things that go above and beyond, and then it'll happen for you.
I love that. And I usually like to leave with a tip. So that was an amazing tip, Rob. Your wit, constantly, relentlessly knowing your why as well. Thank you so much for making time. Go hug that little baby. And
Thank you, Francesca. Can I just say, you are an incredible person. I think you're so... Forget what you're like, the superstar IP attorney that, you know, everyone that I know who you've dealt with has spoke exceptionally highly of what you do. You know the law inside out. If people need trademarks, anything like that, they need to come and talk to you. But you're a real human. And I think this is the thing that's really important that people need to understand. And congratulations on 2 years, by the way, as partner of Loads and Loads. I don't know where the time's gone. That's like gone like that. But it's not B2B. It's not B2C. It's what our mutual friend Joshua B. Lee and Rachel B. Lee talk about. It's human to human, right? And like I said at the beginning, I genuinely wanted to know about how you were. You genuinely wanted to know about how I was. And that's super important in business, folks. Getting that human connection with people is far more important than going and getting like vanity likes and vanity metrics. Like if you're trying to build a community, really double down on that connection with people and you'll go very, very far. And I want to say you're fantastic at it.
That's so kind. And I hope this is why I do. So this is really why I do these, because I want to show not just the human side, but also what it takes. Yeah. Because all you see is, you know, my videos that go viral or Rob's impressive bio and him being featured on LinkedIn. But this is a real hustle. This is a grind, and it is whatever it takes. So that if you really want something bad enough, like put in the work, and we're telling you firsthand that it is a relentless grind every day. But if you want something bad enough, you can go out and get it. You just need to want it bad enough.
It's so true. And my final point will be the importance of collaboration. We've talked a lot about here, like we're a team, right? Even we're an indirect team. Like I see you as like my teammate when we do collaborations on Monday on LinkedIn Audio, like Mitch is part of our team. And I think it's really important that you find people who can help you and collaborate with you, who'll have your back. There'll be sometimes I can't make something, Francesca will step in. There'll be sometimes Mitch can't make something, Francesca will step in, or Mitch will step in, or whatever. And I think it's really important to help you with that consistency piece as well. Surround yourself with right and like-minded people and collaborate, and you can go far together. So I think it's a really important point just to sort of mention.
Thank you, Rob. Well, you will always be a dear friend of mine, and I'm really excited to do our next checkup call and see how far you've come.
Likewise. Thank you so much for having me. If anyone wants to join our Legally Speaking Club, send me a DM with the word Discord. You're welcome to join. And if you send me the word Francesca, we'll send you some free legal coin for being part of Francesca's community, because a friend of hers is a friend of ours.
Thank you so much. Yeah, make sure you spell my name right.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not going to happen otherwise. Okay, take care. Goodbye.